Hello. So this morning we're going to go over using the gaiters, the optional gaiters that come with your Old Max G2 boots. As you can see, I've got it's a size 4 Old Max. It's kind of open and ready to go. And then this is the optional gaiter that is going to come with your boots. Obviously you get a pair of the Old Max G2, so you're going to get a pair of these gaiters. The gaiter will come like this, and then you're also going to find a piece like this in there, which we're going to solve that mystery for you here in just a minute. So when we're using the gaiter in conjunction with the boot, what we want to do is go ahead and slide that gaiter down into the base of the boot. You're going to notice this little flap here on the back of your gaiter. If you push that down in, there's a seam in the back of the boot right here that will catch that and kind of hold it in place. So if you look inside, you can see I've got it, flat down in there. The toe's up in the toe. We've got it opened up wide, and it's all the way back against the heel of the boot there. And then we take our hoof. It's always a little easier to work with this one than when we're doing it with our furry friends. But we're going to go ahead and slide the hoof in. And then I like to just take a minute at the back and put my fingers down in there, make sure there's nothing buckled, give it a little tug. And then we're going to go ahead and pull it tight. This is the same as the gaiters on the Easy Boot Epic or the Easy Boot Glove. We want it to be fastened nice and tightly around the pastern so that we eliminate the rubbing from happening. If it's loose, then what happens is the gaiter's going to really move around, and that's going to create rubbing. But if it's nice and snug on there, and the padding's all nice and lined up, then it's not going to move when we get rolling, and it's not going to create any rubbing. Then after the gaiter's applied, we're going to go ahead and take our pastern wrap and hook that through. It is important to mention on this that you do want to make sure you can get a finger in on the sides here before you fasten it. You don't want to over tighten this little safety net here. You want to make sure that it's velcroed and it's fastened, but you don't want to over tighten that part. And once we've got that all done, we go ahead and finish fastening up the back of our boot here and our buckle, and we've got our gaiter. Now, some people may have the experience when applying that gaiter of the front of the gaiter not being able to fully cover. You can see how there's this gap here between the padding that prevents the rubbing, and we have this Velcro part that's exposed. It's the softer part of the Velcro, but that doesn't mean that it won't create some discomfort if it starts rubbing there. So, enter mystery solving piece. This piece, as you can see, hooks into the Velcro on this side. We tuck it in and then fasten. And you can see how this pad from the insert fills in what would be a gap here, because pasterns come in all different shapes and sizes, and we want to make sure that we're keeping them all comfortable and rub free. So that is what this piece that comes with your gaiters is intended for. All right, next we're going to go over the steps you would want to take if you want to use a gaiter and a comfort pad in your boot. The first thing I just want to mention is that you will just want to take into consideration that with the base of the gaiter and the comfort pad, we are going to bring the hoof up in the boot just a little bit here, and so we may need to accommodate for that in sizing if you're ordering your boots for the first time. So just something to take into consideration, that we now have two things in the boot that could affect your fit depending on your horse's measurements and the size that you're in. So when we're going to use the comfort pad, we're going to first put the gaiter in, and we're going to do it as we did before. Push it all the way back into the heel, make sure everything's nice and flat in there. And then we're going to take our comfort pad, which we've trimmed down to our size 4 boot, because that's what we're working with here. And we're going to go ahead and slide that comfort pad in over the top of the base of that gaiter. Again, really important to make sure that you've got it all down in there, nice and flat, no folds or ripples in the base. I like to push down on it, and then we go ahead, we slide the hoof in over that. Then again, nice and tight, we want to fasten this. Sometimes with the comfort pad on top, it wants to pull the gaiter, one side of the gaiter down a little. Like if I were to just fasten it like this, that's kind of how it naturally wants to go, but we don't want it to fasten that way. We want these two pieces to be lined up as tight as we can get them together, and then fasten it. And then if we have a gap here because of the size of our horse's pastern, that's when we're going to bring in the other insert that comes with your gaiter to protect that area there. And then once we've got that done, we're going to follow the same steps for fastening our boot. Buckle up the pastern strap, make sure we have enough room to get a finger in on either side. Once we've got that, fasten up the back of the boot here, get our buckle going, and we are off to hit the trail. So now we're going to go over how you would use the Old Max inserts. You may have be using the Old Max G2 with a horse that maybe has a little longer than wide conformation at the hoof, which sometimes might cause us to put you into a size that will accommodate your length, but it could give you a little bit of extra width in that boot. And so when that happens, the Old Max inserts can help to act as a shim of sorts to take up some space in the sides of your boot. When you get your inserts, they're going to come in a bag like this. You're going to get 4, and so you'll have a pair for each boot. So one set of the inserts can take care of 2 boots for you. So if you have 4 boots that you need to take care of, you'll need to get 2 packages of these. The way that they work, if we go ahead and open up our boot, as we would for application. And then the way that these work, it's actually quite easy. So you're going to take this side of the Velcro, you notice you have a rough side and the soft side. The soft side goes over the existing side Velcro, and then we tuck it down into the boot. Same on the other side. Soft side goes in, tuck it down into the boot, just like that. Then we take our hoof, slide it down in there. Obviously, working with the green hoof, we have it's a little easier than working with a live hoof. What you're going to notice here when I put this hoof in, see how we caught the tab here? Just something to be mindful of. This certainly could happen your first time applying this boot if you've never done it before. If you notice that, you're just going to want to back the hoof out, make sure that tab is up, and then whenever applying your boots, you do just want to take a second, let the hoof go down to the ground, take a look at the front, make sure you haven't caught anything, make sure that everything's lined up the way you want before you start fastening your boot. Really important to take that extra step. Make sure that everything is just as it should be. Make sure we have a finger's space in our pastern wrap, and then you'll see these Velcro right over the rough part of the insert. Now, because we've added some width here, you may find that your Velcro doesn't close as much as it did without the shims in, right? So just making sure you have as much contact made as possible, and then knowing that you have this buckle as a little backup, making sure you can get at least one hook so we know that that Velcro is secure. And It's not going to go anywhere. And you're all ready to go.